Today's project is going to be to remove the engine. So I got the engine freed up so I can get the torque converter unbolted from the transmission and unbolt the trans from the engine, pull the engine separately from the transmission. I think it'll just make life a little easier. I couldn't find my engine stand, so I just bought another one and got this too. Thought I'd give one of them a try. It's a load leveler. Never used one. I've always just used chains with bolts and different parts, so we'll give it a try, see how I like it. I assembled the engine stand, a little Mickey Mouse. I hope it withstands the weight of the engine. It is just a stripped down block. I'll probably, I don't know. I'll probably support it with the cherry picker when it's assembled before I paint it. I'll probably just dangle it from the cherry picker to paint it. But I got this, I got that together too. And the secret with all this cheap stuff is lubricate all the moving parts with some motor oil. Put a drop of oil there. I put a drop of oil on the, put some oil on the screw in there. Oiled these wheels. Same with where these wheels go in, and where the things are for the casters, and a little grease here so this doesn't bind up when you go to turn it with the weight of the engine on it. The next step on removing the engine, I'm going to undo all the nuts that hold the torque converter to the flywheel, and you have to be able to turn the engine. And I noticed, along with the power steering gear leak, can you see where the sector shaft seal is leaking? The transmission shift shaft seal is leaking too. There's a couple little puddles on the garage floor, so we will put new seals in the transmission. Obviously, it'd be crazy not to, why it's disconnected and able to take it out. The engine doesn't look like it leaked anything. The engine's really clean. The inside of the bell housing's clean. Looks really good under here. So anyway, I'm going to get to undoing some bolts here. Some nuts, I should say. So as I take those off, I can land right here by the crank. So I can just take my bar and shove it in here and turn the engine, if I can hold everything still here, and get it to the next nut on the flywheel. There's that plug. This is how you drain the torque converter. And I think why that is there. I think I want to drain the converter. Well, no, I can take the engine out and then drain it. That'll be fine. Doesn't look like this is the original nut. These are more like what the original nuts look like, but maybe I'm mistaken, but maybe this transmission's been rebuilt at one time. The fluid in it is Whistling Dixie clean, so could be. And now I've turned it 180 degrees, so you can see there's a second one of these. So you take one out to let the fluid out and one out to let the air out or in. So you take the one out, turn the crank 180 degrees, take the other one out. Now this nut, 180 degrees, is the same as, so far I've got two different style of nuts. So if any of you guys that work on these cars all the time know if that's correct or not. It's supposed to have two of the one kind, two of the other. Let me know. It just doesn't make sense that they would have used two different styles of nuts to hold the torque converter on. There's 4 of them all together. So get that one undone, and then I'll unbolt the bell housing, and then there's the motor mount bolts or nuts or whatever you want to call them, and then the engine's ready to lift out. It is separated, and it was a little bit of work. This pin, this dowel pin right here, not that one, not the one on that side, this one was stuck in the engine block, and so I freed this side over here and then was able to work it loose over this way, and then this was stuck on the pin too. So it's off and the engine is on its way out. It's just hanging there. This thing, actually, I like it. You can change the angle of the engine just by doing this. So and it very easily changes. It'll make it good to put the engine back in. Rather like that. I had to take it off the jack stands because the legs of my cherry picker were hitting them. And yeah, I like my other cherry picker better, but this one does the job. The framework sits up higher, so it hit the control arms. There's more. My other one, the framework sits down lower because the wheels. It's a really rugged one, my other one. But like I say, it just takes up so much space. It's hard to disassemble and reassemble, so that's why I have this one. But it's doing the job. All right, I'm going to get it out on the stand. One thing I have to say about this cherry picker is the front wheels are casters. So I can take an engine out in a lot less space. The other one, the front wheels are fixed. It's like, you know, things welded that the big wheels attached to, so that end doesn't turn. But you can see that freeze plug's rusted out. That one doesn't look too healthy. No, it's got a hole in it right there. And this freeze plug is rusted out. That's the bolt where the transmission cooler line's attached. Yeah, it looks pretty darn good. We'll get it apart tomorrow. I like to just make life a little easier, and I always mark where the flywheel bolts the engine off. Then the bolt patterns are different if they're externally balanced. But I still like to put them together the way I take them apart. So that is why I mark things. You can see these are the holes where the torque converter, where those drain plugs go through. And ring gear's got a little bit of tooth damage, but it's actually pretty good. I think it'll be fine. Well, back of the engine looks pretty good. It's got some factory markings on it there. I don't know if that means it's 352 cubic inch, but it is ready to go on the stand. It doesn't look like the rear main leaked on this. There's a little bit of oil in there. It's probably from the valve covers and whatnot, so maybe the intake. But the oil pan and everything was dry, so it's going to get a new rear main, all new everything. So let's get it on the stand. Got it mounted to the stand. The stand is kind of, I had to take the acetylene torch and cut a little out, about a 1/4 inch on each side to get these to come out further so I could get them to, I didn't want to bolt them to the ears there, and it would not reach out to there either. But yeah, I don't want to snap those off, wreck the block, so I bolted them up there. And I think that's a lot sturdier. So if I have time tomorrow, I'll drop the sump, pull the lifters out and look at them, drop the sump, get the timing cover off, maybe get the pistons out and crank out. And I gotta wait until I can get my brother to come down and bring the measuring tools so we can measure everything, measure the bores and everything. And I think he's gonna take the bike and store it at his place. So I have a little more space in the garage to work on this. And I think maybe tomorrow I'll get the manifolds off the heads so I can get them off to the rebuilder. I'm going to have to I'll probably put like a 2x4 across the front of the car and just run some chains or something down, bolt the transmission to hold it up so I can get the car jack back up. I had to lower the car down, you know, to get the engine out. And then I'll drop the transmission. Transmission looks like it doesn't leak. So it's pretty clean. And cross members, you know, it's got a little scaly rust on it, but that's actually like a greasy undercoating there. Oh, look at that shiny metal underneath that where it come off. I don't know if you can see that or not. So now I can get the trans out and start getting things apart up here, and get the steering gear off and heater core. Maybe I'll get the heater core out tomorrow too, and then I can get the heater core and radiator off to the radiator shop, get the heads out, and get to work. And check this out. That didn't bust. So far everything's come undone fairly easy on this car. It's kind of like the Catalina. I haven't had to heat anything yet. You know, usually when I work on a Michigan car, Michigan rust bucket to restore, the torches are out all the time so I can heat seized and rusted bolts. I haven't had to heat a single thing on this car yet, so hopefully we can stay in that path. I don't know if I showed these or not. Yeah, I think I did, the rusted out freeze plugs, but it's bolted up, and I think I'll get the cherry picker out of here and put it back away, just get it out of my way, and clean up some of the mess and call it a night. Just for the heck of it, I popped out one of the lifters. Came right out. So they're not gucked in or rusted in, and it doesn't look too bad. I can't hold a straight edge on it and hold the camera at the same time, but yeah, I think that this engine's going to run good when done. There was a little bit of, see, a little cross hatching in that cylinder still. That isn't one I fooled with, and they look pretty good. Everything looks pretty good on the engine. I don't feel a ring ridge at all. Running my fingernail up there and it's not catching. So we might be able to save the pistons and just re-ring them. We'll get some measuring done and find out. So if you like my video, hit the like button. If you want to see this 66 Ford back on, you know, everything I have to do to get this thing back on the road, subscribe to my channel. It'll, you know, it's going to get new paint. I'm going to restore it basically. So if you're new to my channel or just watching this video for the first time, subscribe and you'll see this car get resurrected. And thank you for watching my videos.